Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. Today guys, I'll be checking out this interesting video from Sky News Australia, and it's titled Lefties Losing It. Rita Panahi in shock over Joe Biden's baby bite. You guys, I'm excited for this, and without much ado, let's see what this video is all about.
Now it's time for Lefties Losing It, and fresh from calling half the country human garbage and then pretending he never said it, the leader of the free world, President Joe Biden, went back to doing what he does best, sniffing babies and biting babies now too. He's gone from putting his foot in his mouth to putting baby feet in his mouth. He's putting the whole thing in his mouth multiple times, my gosh. And he wasn't done yet. He spotted another baby. Oh, there you go. He's back to sniffing them, back to doing what he's most comfortable with. Just totally normal behaviour. Meanwhile, the Veep, the woman who wants to be leader of the free world, is out there spewing the most outrageous lies. Here she is in Pennsylvania earlier today.
And look, Donald Trump's not done. He would ban abortion nationwide. Yes, even here in Pennsylvania, if he were successful. He would restrict access to birth control, put IVF treatments at risk, and force states to monitor women's pregnancies.
Lies, 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 lies. And she lies with the comfort of knowing the bulk of the media will let her get away with it. Meanwhile, Trump is turning Biden's comments and the Democrats' hysteria into another iconic campaign moment.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
He then answered questions from the truck. It was a press conference, more robust press conference than Kamala faces. And then he said this to a rally at Wisconsin today.
250 million Americans are not garbage.
Let's do more Lefties Losing It with my next guest, Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Kosha, let's have a look at some of the absurd lengths the media has gone to in order to excuse or try to cover up Joe Biden's comments calling half the country garbage. Here is CNN blaming a stutter.
Joe Biden has never been a big arena speaker. He's never been the most fluid speaker. And by the way, as someone who had a stutter growing up, it's very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters there. He was referring to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves.
It was a stutter. He's not good with words, really. And not to be outdone, we had this from the ladies of The View. Here is Whoopi Goldberg, who seems to be in a permanent state of hysteria nowadays.
I don't understand why all the pearl clutching over Biden's statement, why they all have a problem with what Biden said, when what this other guy has said.
J.D. Vance?
No,
the comedian.
I'm just gonna watch the clip.
Whose name she
We're like a garbage can. You know, it's the first time I've ever said that. We're like a garbage can. We're like a garbage can. It's like we're a giant garbage can.
Yeah. So
He's talking about
country.
The country.
The entire
Garbage can.
population.
He's talking about the country, the entire population. That's what they're claiming, Kosha. Wasn't he talking about the fact that unchecked illegal immigration has seen thousands of criminals flood the country and treat the country like a garbage can? Isn't that kind of a fairly important context to add there?
Absolutely. But honestly, with the ladies of The View, I don't know if they genuinely understood that or don't understand it, but the American people understand it. This is why immigration is a top 2 issue. And everybody sees the numbers, everybody sees the very tragic, sad anecdotes, and everybody knows what it means. The mental gymnastics that they and the other guy on CNN are going through to try and describe this is really, it's funny, I think, because of what happened 48 hours before, where they were making a big deal out of trash, and then literally the same thing happened.
But Kamala's come out and disowned it now. She's, I think, realised no amount of media cover is going to limit the damage. Yep. So she's distanced herself. Is Joe Biden doing this on purpose? Is he trying to hurt the Harris campaign?
This is a question. Who knows what's in his mind? You know, it could be sabotage. It could be letting the mask slip, which is what the other side is making hay of. You know, we started with the basket of deplorables, which was an inflection point in Hillary's campaign, to fascists and garbage. And maybe there is some real belief there as well.
Well, this is what I just don't understand, how anybody could question that this is how Democrats and the left see Republicans, see Trump supporters, because we just heard days of them characterising people who attended the rally at Madison Square Garden as being fascist, being supporting some sort of a Nazi rally. So if you think people are Nazis and fascists and white supremacists, well, of course you think they're garbage if that's your worldview. And I think this is why they're having such trouble hiding this or trying to spin it.
They put themselves in a box because they want to say that he's Hitlerian and fascist, but then simultaneously say his supporters aren't. I think Bret Baier had asked Kamala specifically, like, oh, why are millions, tens of millions of people supporting him? Do you think they're stupid? And she didn't take that bait. She said, no, I would never say that about American people. And now she's in a box where she has to admit it.
Now, the mainstream media in the US may be waking up to reality. An anonymous TV exec has told the New York Magazine that, and I quote, if half the country has decided that Trump is qualified to be president, that means they're not reading any of this media and we've lost this audience completely. A Trump victory means mainstream media is dead in its current form. Now, this was actually, Kosha, part of a piece that was lamenting the leftist media's declining influence in American politics. It was a pretty terrible piece, if you ask me, but that bit of insight was very good indeed. And it's accurate because people have lost faith in the media. And there's surveys that show that trust in the media in the US is at historic lows. Only 1 in 10 Republicans have any faith in the mainstream media. And a really tiny number, less than 3 in 10, independent.
Wow, you guys, what are your thoughts on this video, and what do you think about Joe Biden biting baby's feet? That is totally bizarre. I don't even know what to think of that because I have never seen anything of that sort before. But what do you think? Would you allow him to put your baby's feet in his mouth? I hope baby's feet. This is so unhinged. And let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below. And what are your thoughts on the mainstream media dying? Do you think they are actually dying? Or okay. Do you think the mainstream media is actually dying? For me, I think they are going out of fashion because people no longer tune into this mainstream media for information. They'll rather go to some social media platform to get verified information. Let me know your thoughts. Leave it in the comment section down below and let's continue watching, you guys.
And I think that's what's really hurting the Democrats.
Yes, the surveys are there. I think it's lower than Congress. Their approval rating people talk about, which tells you something. He is right in that insight, but it came so late, like 2 decades so late for him to say that, and he has to hide behind anonymity. So whoever this person is, I kind of feel bad for the guy that he can't come out and put his name on it. I think there's a little bit of a preference cascade happening in this election with people who never would have openly supported Trump, high-profile people doing so. And when we saw Jeff Bezos and the Washington Post come out and do that, and the LA Times and USA Today, it's giving permission, maybe anonymously to some of them, but it's giving them permission to come and face the music because he's right. You can't really run a business if half the country is completely against what you're selling.
At least half the country, but the realisation seems to be fairly shallow because they just realise, yeah, we have a problem. They don't understand why. They don't understand why they're so disconnected from half the country, why they're so desperately out of touch and almost proudly out of touch with much of the country. Now, let's have a look at this ad from Robert F. Kennedy's team. This is in response to Kamala Harris's campaign to drum up more support among male voters.
Dear Kamala Harris, let's get one thing crystal clear. The vast majority of American men have no issue with electing a female president. Our issue lies solely with you. You were second in charge of California for 13 years.
As California's Attorney General, Harris promoted enforcement of a law that allowed prosecutors to seek jail time for parents of truant kids.
I open the door and I see at least 7 or 8 cops wanted to arrest me. As a matter of fact, they did.
They went over there and I said, when you go over there, look really mean.
She had me arrested and prosecuted because my handicapped daughter was sick in the hospital and had missed some days of school.
I learned that with the swipe of my pen, I could charge someone with the lowest level offense. That person could be arrested. They could lose time from work and their family maybe lose their job. They'd have to come out of their own pocket to help hire a lawyer. They'd lose standing in their community.
I lost my job and couldn't pay rent, and we got evicted.
Weeks later, I could dismiss the charges, but their life would forever be changed.
I became homeless. We had to move into a motel.
All because of the swipe of my pen.
I don't agree what Kamala Harris did to my mom, and I don't agree with what she's done to other parents as well.
You were second in charge of the United States for 4 years.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Kosha, that's a powerful ad. Her record as a prosecutor, her record as VP, as the borders are, all of it is working against her. And that was a real reminder of what happened in California, because the media is not telling us about it.
Absolutely. It's a reminder, and it's probably even educational for so many people who don't know that much about her, because her strategy clearly has been to avoid it. And either at first it was vibes, and then it was joy, and then it was Trump as Hitler. But it's never actually been about her record other than to just tout the fact that I was Attorney General of the largest state in the country. Nothing beyond that. What was really interesting about it is they were going after truancy, which is prosecuting parents for choosing not to send their kids to school for any number of reasons. That comes across as very callous for the parental vote and maybe women. I think she's going after that. And also the words that she was using, like, with the stroke of my pen, I can put you away and ruin your life. It was almost drunk on power.
If you watch the full ad, we played a fair chunk of it, but it's actually longer than that. You actually hear her talk about why she did this. And it wasn't to get kids to school. That wasn't the number one objective. It was for the funding, because California was losing funding because of the truancy.
Right.
And it was a significant amount, and she said, I want that money. So the full ad is just quite devastating. But we've also got ads like this. This one encourages women to lie to their husbands about how they're voting. This is one that's encouraging them to vote for Kamala, lie to their husbands, and really what's insightful about this ad is how the left see women.
Your turn, honey.
In the one place in America where women still have a right to choose, you can vote any way you want, and no one will ever know.
Did you make the right choice?
Sure did, honey. Remember, what happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Walls.
Kosha, it was kind of a funny ad, but the way they see women, particularly women married to conservative men, it's almost a caricature.
It is a caricature, and you're right, it was funny, and abortion is a very animating issue for the Democrat base. They love that issue. It really is motivating them to come out. That's one of the things, if the election does go in Kamala's favor, it's going to come down to women and that issue. So they're clearly touching on that. But then to your point, the whole message of saying, hey, lie to your husbands, I think that's going to backfire, especially with married women. Like, there's just something tacky about it.
The dynamic between the husbands and wives there was just so kind of creepy, and like the men seemed
like losers.
Like losers, but almost, that whole toxic masculinity air that the left seems obsessed with. It really just painted everybody so poorly. It's like, why would you want to identify with that? Well, that's not going to encourage you to change your behaviour.
It's very negative. Overall, it just was a negative approach to family, to marriage, to women, to all of it. So I don't think it's going to work.
It was a strange one. We've seen some strange ads in this campaign, but who knows? It may be effective. Kosha Gator, thank you so much for your time this evening.
You guys, that was such an interesting one. And what do you think about the first Kamala ad? I think that ad is meant to bring Kamala Harris down, because I believe after seeing such an ad, Americans will know the right thing to do. And I'm not in support of the second ad about women lying to their husbands about their vote. That is totally unrealistic. And let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below. Leave your thoughts, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.